Switzerland, Wonderland, a small country full of surprises, and wonder by the lake or the... Although Switzerland being rather a small country, it has a very diverse landscape, which is why one village may look very different from the other one. Having traveled through plenty of my top 10 lists, Gruyère is a pretty medieval town that appears to be very humble, and yet it has so much to offer. You might be familiar with the name. Yes, it's the world-famous cheese that is named after this region. In here, many foodie enthusiasts will surely get more than Gruyère is well known for its delicacies, classic cheese fondue à la moitié-moitié, or the yummy desserts such as meringues or berries with double, definitely a must try. Being internationally well recognized for its cheese, many of you might be surprised that this region is the home to one of the most beautiful villages of Switzerland. With its many beautiful medieval houses and a castle, Gruyère definitely has its charm. In addition, its unique location on the hill provides you a great view over the surrounding landscape. Great things to do in here are a visit to the Tibet Museum, the HR Giga Museum and the bar, and definitely the Chateau de Gruyère. The latter is a museum that provides you an insight into the history of this region. World famous and often named as the most beautiful village of Switzerland, Zermatt definitely well deserves to be on this top 10 list. Not mainly because of its wonderful core, but the primary reason why tourists would come up here besides going for skiing. No doubt, this village can proudly claim to be the home to one of the most gorgeous views of all of Switzerland, and maybe even of the world. From there you'll have a fantastic frontal view on the Matterhorn. Besides, there is also the more famous Gönnegrä, which can be accessed by train. Just nearby, another great spot marks the Riffelsee. This is that iconic lake. The considerable is also the Kleinmatterhorn, which is the highest station to be visited in all of Europe. What is also very nice about Zermatt is the fact that it's car-free and only can be accessed by train. The only vehicles allowed up there are electric shuttles. Zermatt is basically great to visit during any time of the year. During spring and summer, you'll get a nice contrast between the green landscape and the snowy summits. Autumn is great to get a very colorful impression. And during winter, I'd say this town is a come-true fairy tale. That most of you have never heard of this village. Well, there might be a strong explanation for this. Only 12 people live here. This makes Goripo to the smallest village of Switzerland. Despite being located in the Merzasca Valley, where James Bond's GoldenEye was filmed and numerous tourists go every year, yet this village remains rather unnoticed. Because Goripo is a hidden gem and at the same time the smallest village of Switzerland. Very eye-catching are the many traditional stone houses that are only 12 people living up here, and the fact that many houses are abandoned. One may be curious about the future of this village. Under renovation, the abandoned parts of this village are being converted into the Merzasca Valley. Welcome to what I call the town of Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Central sun playing by the river, embedded into the hilly landscape of the canton of Jura, this village feels very serene. The center of the village is very beautiful. There are many old houses that have been well preserved. A must visit are the church and the nearby abbey. Both places are very quiet and furthermore are great focus for photography. Central Zone is also on for some great food. Laying by the river, it's not too far-fetched that fish is considered a local specialty. The village is great to be visited during any time of the year. However, I would claim it's best during late spring and snowy winter days. We're now moving to the very east of Switzerland, the Lower Engadin. Guarda is the hometown of Switzerland's most iconic park. This town charms with its many painted window frames and edges. The locals call its wall decorations graffiti. Museum, as pretty much every house is a great subject for photography. The atmosphere up here is incredibly calm. Definitely a trip to Guarda is going to feel feel very rich. Definitely a highlight, the local kids will chase away the winter's wait to witness myself. Zermatt minus the Matterhorn and tourists. Facing a lot of competition from other attractive tourist centers nearby, Emens is somewhat lucky of having one of the most photogenic villages, and no doubt here you can find plenty of masterpieces of traditional wooden houses. What makes this village especially attractive are the many forts in front of the window. A road that is passing through the village and a beautifully showcased traditional technology of television. Definitely, Emens is one of my very favorite. Located in the valley of 72 waterfalls, this region has been attracting plenty of tourists over the past decades. Lauterbrunnen is the most known village in this wonderful valley. It's a place to go for capturing this iconic view. Just in the background drops the Stadtbach song, which gives the appearance and explains why this village Lauterbrunnen has a very interesting meaning. It's translated as plenty of fountains, which put this place being heaven on earth. Let's explore this wonderful village and walk along the wooden rocks and consider it being the most unique waterfall in Switzerland. I highly recommend to go up to Baden, as from there you can get even better impression of this magical valley. And of course, let's not forget about this, we're really talking about world famous. It's very nice to spend your day up on the shelf of this place was featured in James Bond movie as the tonic Jungfrau Joch. It's often named as what I consider Switzerland's luckiest village. Located in the Swiss Riviera, Epes is right in the heart of the Rhine terraces. I love it. From there you have a fantastic view on Lake Geneva and the Alps. Basically, Epes just sits in a perfect location. The village of Epes appears very humble, while it makes one of its best to be visited on sunny days from late spring until golden autumn. Then you can see the colors of the vineyards, flashy green during summer and golden yellow during October and November. Epes marks the perfect starting point should you choose to go for a hike in this magical landscape. These trails offer definitely some of the prettiest views that you could get in this country. As Epes is embedded into the Lavaux, it is no surprise that this village set is based on the production of wines. Yes, this region produces some of Switzerland's best wines, and thus I highly recommend you to have it come up here. The houses of Epes are very pretty. It's definitely going to be a very enjoyable walk along the main street. Just don't forget to once in a while take a look down to the lake, else you might really miss out some great views. Like Saint-Ursanne, Stein am Rhein holds the legal status of being a city, but more likely appears as a village. With roughly 3,000 inhabitants, Stein am Rhein is telling a separate story. Because of this, I would say that Stein is the villages in Switzerland. Stay, and even the culture in here has a lot of influence from the Middle Age. For example, one can watch a spectacle Noivili, which is the most told legend of this town. And really amazing is the fact that the center of the village is the stage itself. Then also a must visit are the museum at the Old Abbey or the castle on top of the hill, the Burg Reutlingen. By the way, my great-grandparents were running the restaurant up there more than 100 years ago. There you can see the well-preserved interior of these medieval houses. My signature recommendation is to go taking lunch at the restaurant Rheinfels. They serve delicious fish. However, don't forget to make a reservation there. It's actually a very popular place. And don't forget about a boat tour up to Lake Constance. The landscape around here is actually very beautiful.